It seems like every beer company in the world is trying to get. I would not be surprised if Coors Light
Ooh, I can't
or like,
wait.
oh dude, can you imagine Justin's reaction if fucking Bud Light comes out with a spiked seltzer, like how they've been
I
coming out
mean,
with all the orange Bud Lights
Bud
and
Light
shit.
Orange
Yeah.
is basically a spiked seltzer.
I mean, look, if the flavor of the seltzer is like piss water, Bud Light's already a seltzer. This is the Jacket Off Podcast, episode 50. It is Easter Sunday. We are celebrating 2 years of Jacket Off Podcast this day on the day of our Lord. The Lord has risen and blessed us with truly spiked seltzer. Not a sponsor.
His second, some might say his greatest miracle was when he turned water into a sparkly boy.
Praise be.
That's how the
Praise be.
That's what Josea 3:18.
Take that, atheists, you bunch of fucking idiots. Can you explain truly hard seltzer? Atheists, checkmate. Fuck you. And to the atheists, I say, I'm actually okay with you. You're pretty smart, reasonable people. Unless you get as self-righteous as the other side of the pond, then just forget it. I already finished this seltzer, by the way, before we barely even started. It's just got a little tiny sip left of it. Bought it from the beer cave at the local Stewart's. Walked right in, and I made this sound because they had seltzers. I mean, who wouldn't? I feel like there should be a subreddit for this, and I should probably make it.
Well,
like it should be like Seltzer Boys.
Well, I mean, we just got the podcast. That's all we talk about now is seltzer.
Yeah,
spike seltzers and spike seltzer related products.
Spike seltzers, Castlevania, and Resident Evil.
This week's review is Smirnoff. How was it? The
Smirnoff spike seltzer actually just does not even remotely taste like a spike seltzer in probably the best possible way. Like, if I were to rank these on the level of like flavor per seltzer,
let's do it.
I would rank Truly at the bottom at number 5,
really?
And then at number
Truly?
4, yeah,
Truly you would. Well, what's Truly though? Because you ever tried the Trulies that are the tropical flavors?
No, I've only had the citrus ones. So in fairness, I guess maybe if I were to say
everyone that's citrus tastes like fucking Pine Sol, it's a little sparkly Pine Sol.
True, that's 100% true.
That's your problem right there.
I guess I would say
it's pear elderflower. All right, that's a $15 word on this label.
I'll qualify that. I will say that the Truly Citrus Collection is number 5 on the taste scale, and then I would say above that is White Claw. And then I would say above that is Spike Seltzer. And then I would say above that, number 1 is Smirnoff. Without question, it is.
I think this is a different Spike Seltzer that I have. It's Bon and Viv. Spike Seltzer. It's not Spike Seltzer, right? Isn't that a different one?
No, that's what that is. It's just
so
because
they got a
Spike
new
Seltzer
label?
has become a commodity. It's become a commodity word, like, because Spike Seltzer is everything. Like, they're all Spike Seltzers.
Okay.
But it's kind of like how Kleenex is a tissue. Like, you have to, because this one said like Truly is hard seltzer.
Yeah.
And then spiked seltzer. I don't know if they've like trademarked it, because I don't think any of the rest of them can call it spiked seltzer.
Yeah, there's a little TM right next to this bad boy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't call another beverage spiked seltzer because they patented it.
Yeah, but they put their brand on the top now too.
Right.
Because before it just said spiked seltzer slapped right there.
Yeah. Well, so I would say, and the flavors of Smirnoff are totally Smirnoff.
Well, they got like I said.
Well, no, that's classy flavors, Dylan. I'm saying
I don't know.
Smirnoff flavors. Like, my ass wouldn't be surprised if they had like Jones Soda flavored fucking spike seltzers on the Smirnoff. Like,
you're making me spiky.
yeah, one of them is watermelon flavored, and it literally tastes like if you sucked on a watermelon Jolly Rancher and then gave it to somebody else. That's the flavor profile. Is like, or you made out with somebody that just sucked on a watermelon Jolly Rancher.
Hot.
That's pretty much the taste of it. Yeah, it's a sexy concept, isn't it? There's that one, and then there's like a pink lemonade one, which again is
Did the president die? Because I'm flying half mass over here.
and this can opening moment is brought to you by being at half mast. See the lemon one? The lemon one does taste like lemons, in fairness. The lime one is not as good in the Truly line. So on this, Dylan, the day of our Lord.
There's 7 minutes.
Dylan, what am I thankful for? Oh, wait a minute. That's not the right holiday. It's got all the same food, but it's a different thing.
How cheap are Toyotas? Is it a Toyota-thon type of holiday? Or is it the...
Do I go buy a mattress on this holiday?
Which one is this?
Or is that the one... Oh. Can I buy, like, computer parts really cheap? Possibly? On the day of all Easters?
What frivolous purchase will get me a free iPad?
I wonder what like if I do Easter sales, what do we got for Easter sales? Let's be a consulting firm for on this podcast for good deals. Ooh, Overwatch Legendary Edition for PS4 is $18 this week.
You're just gonna read off the fucking weekly ad?
Yeah, just the weekly ad, dude. Well, no, this is just a bunch of different ads for shit.
I don't care.
Dylan, 34-inch ultra-wide gaming monitor from Asus for $400 is $200 off. 1340 by 1440.
What am I gonna do with that? Where am I gonna put that? In front of my other one?
Yeah, you got to put it in front of the other one. You have more screens in that room than some fucking TV stations have in their control room, so more than PBS has got in their whole studio. Echo Dot 3-pack. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, 3-pack for $70, dude. It's a good deal. 3-pack of them?
Ooh. Hopefully, by now, there will be a new intro song for this podcast. You know, if I can.
Oh my God!
Write something up real quick.
So hopefully, what I'll do is, since this is coming out in post, I'm gonna lock that in, and I'll say, I hope you enjoyed that new intro song that was just before we started talking.
Oh, shit, I gotta write that.
Oh God, no. Well. I guess I'll leave it open-ended. If you heard a new intro song at the beginning of this, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the 40-minute orchestral arrangement of our song that has 4 movements and a part where it does a dubstep breakdown. It's going to sound like the entire second half of the second law by Muse.
You really had me at the 8th motif.
You still recording?
Yeah, I was recording that.
All right.
Oh, good. Now, there's probably not going to be a new song because I got to edit this. All right?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
we have to go in and cut.
That was it. You know how long it takes me?
Do you even know how the blade tool works? It's hard. You have to scrub the video and then go to it and click it, and then you have to take it out.
I literally cut this in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It takes longer to load Premiere than it does for me to chop it.
The production value of this podcast is just exquisite. Over the internet, shitty quality. You know how we do it. You have a few too many spike seltzers, the internet drops out. You know the game.
You fall asleep behind the reset button on your modem.
So, Dylan, today we reflect on what makes us thankful. No, damn it, that's still the wrong holiday.
Still the same jokes.
Well, I'm trying to think of like what.
You reset your modem. You didn't reset your fucking joke.
What's Easter? What is Easter? What? How does it? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do on Easter? You just stuff your face? It's just another food holiday? Is that what it is at this point?
Well, it's nothing to you.
That's true. When you don't have kids, what the fuck is Easter? Like, go hide some eggs. I don't buy shit. I don't go out and buy Easter baskets for, like, I don't know, for my wife or whatever, but like, you don't do anything.
You should hide an egg somewhere and tell her that you hid an egg. And
I have deviled eggs in the fridge. Should I hide one of those somewhere?
Uncooked,
I'd probably be bad.
Well, keep the fruit flies away, the vinegar.
Becky, I hid a deviled egg somewhere in the house. Go find it. And if you don't, we're probably going to have the place fumigated. So, no pressure or anything, because I can't remember where I found it. I was too drunk on spiked seltzers. I get shit wasted and just hide a bunch of really terribly decorated eggs everywhere.
Becky, I split open a deviled egg and I put 2 quarters in it. Go find it. I took out the yellow yolk and I put some quarters in.
This is just at midnight when we go to bed. It's just like I just lean over and I'm just like, I forgot to tell you, I hid a bunch of eggs in the house. This will be fun. It's all right. We can just find them tomorrow morning. Before work, we're just trying to find all the eggs in the house, scrambling. Hot scrambling. What's up? So that's Easter. That's Easter this year. We went out on a nice walk throughout the Round Lake neighborhood today. And I am sweaty as fuck.
Sweating.
This reminds me of the old days.
I was sweating last night trying to figure out how to use Snapchat.
You got back on Snapchat?
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get back into Snapchat. I look at it, there's nothing's labeled. It's just like a fucking little pictographs, and they don't mean anything.
This might as well be fucking hieroglyphs. What am I, Indiana Jones?
How do you take a picture with this?
How do you take a picture? It fucking feels like that with Instagram sometimes, where it's like, it's easy to take a picture sight unseen with Instagram, but what if I take a fucking picture in my camera app that I want to post later? Oh, cool. Now I got to bring it in there and like, or what if I take a video? Okay, I don't want to post it instantly to my story.
That's what I do
all the time.
It's all camera roll. Like, I don't use other apps for photos.
No, I don't. Yeah, I like, why? Okay, I get like, I would sometimes for the purposes of putting an image or a video right into Instagram, I go into Instagram. But why is it that when you take a picture in Instagram, you can either only download it to your when it just goes into your camera roll in the right format, or you just post it to your story, especially if it's a video. Like, when you click the plus sign in Instagram to take a video or a photo or whatever, a boomerang or whatever the fuck you're doing, you go to the preview page, and then all it has
just keep replaying.
Boomerang Boomerang is where, like, in a traditional video editing sense, if you want to make something last forever, it just goes like this.
Oh, it goes back.
The timeline
and forth?
goes like this. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Because it plays it forward and then reverses it and then loops that, so it goes like this. But Dylan, what the biggest issue is that sometimes if I take a fucking picture in Instagram, I just want to post it to my timeline, not my story. Nobody gives a fuck about my story. I'm not The Rock. Like, nobody is going to go into my story to see shit. The only thing that people do on Instagram is endlessly scroll their timeline. That's all anybody does.
I'm going to have the hottest Snapchat story. Everyone follow. My little QR code's going to be in the corner.
You're not going to edit that in.
I'll edit it in. I'll put it in right now. How do I get it? I don't have my phone.
You print out a piece of paper from an inkjet printer and hold it onto the screen. I just draw the little
Snapchat ghost and I put in little dots everywhere. It's like, that looks right.
Catch me on my Snapchat. Snapchat. You can't even scan it. It's so grainy and fucking shitty.
Don't Snapchat me.
I guess I should probably get back on Snapchat then.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. What a grand adventure for two 28, 29-year-old dudes to just get on Snapchat again.
You just snap each other pictures of spiked seltzers.
All day long. With the miles per hour thing because we're drinking and driving with spiked seltzer. I'm sorry. You're going to have to be fucking Steven Spielberg to edit this one together.
Look, it's Snapchat.
Oh my god. I don't think I want to be part of that. I don't think I really I don't have the energy for it anymore. I'm not a young man anymore, Dylan. I feel like Snapchat's a young man's game. You got to be able to understand all different kind of hieroglyphs and like...
I just took your picture. I'm going to send it.
All right, cool.
To everyone. Cool. I'm going to send it to you. I'm gonna
Probably. Send it to me. Do I even have a Snapchat?
Yeah, I got your name on here.
All right, let me see if I can get it again. Here we go, Dylan. The grand adventure begins again. I'm becoming 20 whenever I did Snapchat. 24, probably 23 or 24. It was when I was working at the Y and I was like working with like two of the hottest chicks in the world. And I was just like, I probably got to be on Snapchat because like that's what's happening right now. Like fine ass ladies.
Well, don't download it now. You don't need anything else putting a load on your internet, right?
Look, I have 400 megabytes or 100 megabytes per second internet.
Cool, and I gotta keep looking at your dumb face freezing on my computer.
Well, it's because my modem is old. I gotta get a new one. I think at this point I'm probably just gonna go over to Spectrum and just be like, give me whatever fucking stupid modem you're gonna give me so that you can monitor all my activity or do whatever you gotta do, because at this point it's stupid. Like, it's just everything is a fucking overload. Everything is shit because of this modem that I bought for $50 back in the day.
Oh, I should have added that to my story.
Oh my god.
Damn it.
It's got to be on your story.
What does this do? Oh god.
I don't even know what the fuck I don't even know what any of my credentials are for this damn thing. I just sounded like an old man just right there. I don't even know what my password is for the Snapchat. Snapchat. What's this? What is this? I'm gonna put in my dummy password that I put in for everything. Let me take a guess as to whether or not that's gonna fucking work. Oh, good. Here we go. I'm back on it. Oh boy. Dylan, under no circumstances do I want to enable the notifications on this because I do not want to fucking see.
Enable them.
You
don't want to see. You want to see Justin revving his fucking.
His yeah, engine? Cool. Every single day on Justin's Snapchat, revving his fucking motorcycles in tandem. One hand on one thing, vroom, then the next one, vroom, then the third one, vroom, and then gets in his car.
He's got
rev that up. Fucking blow off valve. Oh look, add friends. Here we go. It's giving me all my. It's fucking holy shit! It's like a time capsule. Oh lord! Look, I'll take a picture of you and I'll add it to Snapchat. Snapchat wants to use my location. Oh, here we go, Dylan. This is where it all happens.
Oh yeah.
All right.
It's the first.
All this is doing is the same shit as Instagram. Like it's all completely different now. Let me just crop it. Let me just give it the old crop. I don't know how to crop it.
I was looking at this camera. I forgot. That's the camera that takes the picture.
Oh, dude, it's even better that's the grainy ass. Like, this is gonna be great. All right, let's send this out.
Send it out. Click everyone's name.
Click all the names, baby. I'm gonna put a caption on it. When you realize that you have one last spiked seltzer. Oh, when you okay, no. It'll be when you thought you
We're out.
were out of spiked seltzer, but you weren't. But you
Cool.
found one more.
Live
But
joke
there was
writing
one in the
here on
back of the fridge.
live joke writing here on the podcast.
This is gonna be one for the ages.
You want to save it? Take a screenshot it.
Okay, I gotta move this down because it's perfect. Give it a screenshot. We're gonna swipe that one down. Boom. Save to photos. Bring it over to you. Put it on Justin. Fucking, I don't know any. There's nobody else on here. Does Andrew ever use Snapchat? Probably not.
So
here we go. You, Dylan. Here, just you and Justin. Here. Oh, and I'll put it on my story. Boom. Send it out.
hey, look, a Snapchat.
Give me old Give me old Rochambeau. Snapchat memes. That's a new thing now, isn't it? No, I don't know.
I think it's the old thing.
Justin, if you're listening to this, the snap that you just got is live on the podcast right now, and you can just look back to it. And I also took a screenshot of it for posterity purposes.
Yeah, I screenshotted it too.
I should make this the thumbnail for the podcast, or at least like you.
I mean, I have it. Okay. You got any fun stories, Brent?
Do I have any fun stories? Well, it just so happens that I do. Dylan, I think, well, and here's the thing. I got two things for you. This podcast is now going to have a companion blog. And what I mean by that is the things that I talk about on this podcast are also going to be a sort of a companion piece to my profile on medium.com. So, if you'd like to see my
what do you
stories,
got, a Me Too story?
if you go to medium.com/Brent.Pickard.
No, hard pass.
Medium.com/ let me just make sure that works. It is at Brent Pickard. Medium.com/@Brent Pickard. It's like an Instagram. You're going to find some old stories as early as 2016 that I wrote. But you are also going to find a blog post, new blog post that was at medium.com/@Brent Pickard.
Like the at symbol or AT?
The at symbol.
That didn't work.
At symbol Brent.Pickard. Literally.
Oh, Brent.Pickard.
Yes. Medium.com/ and I'll probably buy a domain for this at some point.
Well, I got subwaysamurai.com if you want to I'll just redirect it.
I bought BrentGuru.com like 2 years ago. I'll just pop that on here, baby.
There you go.
Now,
oh wow, Brent's hot Pokemon Go fucking
from 2016. That's why it's a time capsule, dude. It's amazing.
Christ.
So, and it also, I have two things from when I first started keto, so that's another one to fucking trip down memory lane. But the one that I wrote today is called "Art is Not About Moments." And actually, Dylan, it kind of leads into what I'm talking about, or what we're talking about, which is Snapchat, Instagram, the moment-based social media outlets of our universe right now, right? So yesterday, I went to the Guggenheim.
Oh, I've heard of that.
And aside from being a funny name, funny, it's the Guggenheim. It's kind of like Eddie Murphy and Raw. It's like, and then they said Goony Goo Goo.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the Guggenheim. So it's fun to say. And also, incidentally, it's a pretty good museum to go to. Solid 9 out of 10.
Better than Paw Patrol.
I don't know. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I'd say that.
Okay. All right.
Knowing how highly you spoke of Paw Patrol, I don't really want to insult you on that. I don't feel like it's necessary. But here's the thing. The Guggenheim is a museum that was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright in the mid-1970s. I'm pretty sure it was in the mid-70s. If not, it was the late 60s. and it's a very legendary piece of architecture, and it's also been home to some of the most prolific artists of any century. And of course, as you know, I'm a cultured person.
Oh, right, I do know
I'm
that.
of culture, right? I'm a very I participate in what we would call culture. It's a very broad spectrum of what we would consider culture to be, but I participate in it. So here's the thing. We drove down to New York. One of Becky's friends really wanted to see an exhibit that was happening at this particular time that was closing on Monday. So Monday was the last day that this exhibit was going to be there. And when an exhibit's at the Guggenheim, it's a relatively small building. It's cylindrical in shape, and the way that you go in it is basically you go in at the bottom of a cylinder, and then you spiral all the way to the top.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very it's yes. Really, it's probably one of the most famous museums. So here's the thing. Around this area, we have a lot of museums, like smaller ones that are, you know, of a relatively still very high profile, but not, you know,
not the Guggenheim.
You go to New York and you go to see art. Like, I mean, if you're really an artist and that's what you really are interested in seeing, you're going to go there and you're going to see the best museums in the world. I mean, apart from like the Louvre and some of the biggest, you know, museums in Europe and around the world, New York is the capital of the world in terms of seeing fine art. So when we went, I've only ever been to the Guggenheim one other time before. I really don't even remember what exhibit we had even seen at that show. But when you go to the Guggenheim, what you're only going to see is two things. It's the artist that's on display, because the building is so small. Basically, if they're going to do a show, they do one show. And it's that artist, and that's the artist that's displayed as you spiral up the 6 floors of the building. And that's what's going to be on the walls and the whole thing.
I'm more of like a downward spiral kind of guy.
Ooh, great album.
Good album.
Fantastic album. So, Helma Klint is the name of the artist. She was and this is where I might get you on how like cool this artist is genuinely.
I wonder, does she do a lot of like pastel colors?
You are thinking of Gustav Klimt, who was an artist in the oh my god, I can't remember what period it is. Becky would fucking kill me. But he was the one that used a lot of gold tones and green, pastel green, and he was famous for a painting called The Kiss, which was like two very, very tall figures that are kind of like gold leaf patterned, and they're kissing. My Aunt Deb had like a ton of this work in her house. Like, she was a really big fan of Klimt. But Klint, Klint, she's a relatively unknown abstract expressionist artist from the early 1900s, like really early. And abstract expressionism didn't exist at that time. So here's where it gets a little bit interesting. So in this time period, I hate to go off on this tangent, but I think you might find it interesting.
I'm already sleeping. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know. In this time period around the early 1900s, there was this group of people that were called the Theosophists, which is a big word. They were followers of a very esoteric spiritual movement that basically centered around the discovery of subatomic particles. And what they believed, because they didn't have the science to explain it at the time, is that subatomic particles as they understood them, which was a very rudimentary understanding of what they were at the time, were basically a proof of an invisible reality that's beyond perception, beyond experience. Because again, you don't in the early night at the turn of the century, you don't have the materials to be able to measure this. They just were a group of people who believed that there was something at that level, but they weren't able to measure it. So she was an artist who basically tried to explain what the smallest possible building blocks of life were without the ability to measure them. So she would create art that she believed was the fundamental building blocks of life. And then also along with that, though, we were at a time in the early 1900s where there was a lot of pseudoscience and a lot of metaphysical stuff where, since you didn't have proper measuring tools, we weren't quite at the era where we had, like in the, where we had the Marie Curies of the world, and then later on you had the people who were discovering actual subatomic particles. At this time, people were like, they thought that there was a correlation between subatomic particles and the extraterrestrial, not in the space sense, but the extraterrestrial in the spiritual sense, like otherworldly shit, stuff that would be beyond their physical realm.
Spooky boys.
She had it. Well, it does get a little spooky boy, because it kind of reminded me of like Aleister Crowley, how like he had like that group of people who were like they did like black arts type of stuff. She had this group that she belonged to that was called the Five, and the Five were
a group of like a sick clan name,
because we don't cure our diseases with leeches. Dylan, grow up.
Yeah, but we can still have a cool like
some group name.
Yeah, like.
The black.
No.
Measles. Very topical.
The brown eyes.
No,
that's
brown.
Because I got brown eyes. Right? My eyes are brown.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
Okay, you don't want to be in the brown eye clan?
We'll work on it later. We'll workshop it.
The BIK. Oh, no. See, we're not using the clan with a K. As cool as it looks.
God.
The PLC. Nope. BEC. Beck.
The Beck?
Beck. The Beck. The brown eye clan.
The Beck. I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me? So, here's the story that I want to get to by telling you that.
What about the Five, though? What happened with them?
Okay, so the five were a part of this area of thinking in the early 1900s. These theosophists, which again they believe in like this secondary world, this secondary dimension that's like the subatomic particle level,
the other side,
and then also this spiritual level thing, right?
The other side.
So what?
The other side?
Whatever it is, the upside down. I don't know how else to fucking explain it.
The other side. There's this side,
and then the other side.
Yeah.
That's where our club exists.
Yeah,
on the other side.
That's where the brown eyes hang out
of the tracks. Don't look directly into the brown eye; you'll get cursed.
Or pink eye.
Yeah, exactly. So. The Five, incidentally, weren't like the Fab Five or the Dave Clark Five. They believed that
the monkeys?
They were among the first groups to begin practicing what we know modernly as seance.
Oh,
so they would try to communicate with otherworldly entities at what they believed again was this subatomic level. So there were several series of her work that depicted what she believed was what this other world looked like, or what the building blocks of that, there was things. So It was cool. It was I think the story of the work was probably more significant than the work itself.
I saw ads for this on the subway when I was down there.
Did you really?
Yeah, I remember seeing art like this.
Here's the most important thing about Ilma Clint is that she called this series. Okay, so there's two things. First, the works that we were looking at, 50% of them were for an extended project that she'd called Works for the Temple. And what she was going to do was she had plans in a notebook to build a Theophilist temple that had all of these works in it that they could practice what they considered to be this somewhat of a religion, scientific society hybrid, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And the second thing to it was that she didn't want her works to be displayed until 20 years after her death. Because in the early 1900s, women, holy shit, what you got going on there?
I don't know, I got spooked real quick.
Yeah, I'm telling you a spooky story right now. In the early 1900s, women were not recognized for being artists. If you were a woman artist, you didn't get your work published, you didn't get your work on display, and you really weren't even taken seriously in a sense. So she had the foresight to understand that not only was the work she was creating a way too futuristic work, she also said that she didn't want it to be displayed until 20 years after her death because she believed that women would have a larger voice to be able to do this without having to use pseudonyms.
Looking at the year she died, she was probably a good 40 years off.
Oh, well, right. So that's the interesting thing, is that there's a paragraph in the exposition that's on the wall that says that her timeline was 20 years after she died, but they weren't able to get her work into a gallery until nearly 40 years after she died. So what we're seeing now is the culmination of almost 100 years, more than 100 years of work done by an artist who wasn't thinking that her work was able to be taken seriously until the time we're looking at it. It's fucking nuts. It was going to museums is like looking into a time capsule in all seriousness, but this was more than that. This was seeing somebody who had an incredibly strange view on the world and an incredibly weird thought process, that to us now would seem ill-informed, but at the time, like, this was a field that everybody believed in. This was something that, like, everybody took for granted. It's like, yeah, that's how particles work. That's how the afterlife works. The afterlife works like that, right? You do the seance and you get into the other realm and you call the spirit, whatever the fuck you were doing. But here's the point I want to make, Dylan. In my blog post on medium.com/@Brent.Pickard, you will find a story called Art is Not Moments. And the reason why I called it that is because here is what I saw. Aside from Ilma Klint's work in the gallery, which was the main feature of the whole thing, there's also the Guggenheim Permanent Collection, which has got like a big variety of work in it that they've had for, a really long time. That was in the private collection of the woman who owned the gallery. And also there's a couple smaller exhibitions going on at the same time in some of the side rooms. One of them was about one of them was works that were inspired by an African-American woman that was a slave for like 8 years. Or had to, well, she wasn't a slave for 8 years. She was a slave her whole life. But for 8 years, she had to hide. This was a very similar story to like an Anne Frank. Here's why this is important. Becky and I walked into that section of the gallery. We read the whole paragraph about what this art was about. It was very dark. It's a dark story. Not unlike what I just said. But in a sense of like human dark, like really dark. And we went through the whole exhibit. Everybody was very quiet. And it was just, it was kind of intense. We get to the back and there's this like breeze block wall. Have you ever seen like what a breeze block is? It's like a cinder block that's got... It's like a cinder block that's got a pattern carved in it, and you see a lot of it in like South American countries where it's hot as fuck. and you need to build a house out of something, but you need air to be able to go through it. So you make a house out of what you would consider breeze blocks, which are just patterns carved into thin cement blocks.
Okay, yeah, I think I know.
You know what I'm talking about? You see a lot of them on like Cuban houses where it's like
a lot of stars.
Yeah, there's stars. There's like sometimes it's carved into like you've seen it like you even seen it like carved in like the shape of fruits like pineapples and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all in like these cement walls. And she made one because in the stories she described these walls that her houses were built out of that she was in or whatever. And this is a moment where I just didn't really know what to do, and I didn't know how to interpret it in any way. But there was these we went through like the back of it. We went behind the breeze block wall. There was like a couple works, and there was like an audio piece and whatever that you kind of took in and understood or whatever. And then you came back out, and there was this girl. She was wearing leather pants and a white button-up shirt and like a leather jacket. I remember what she looked like very vividly. She was a good-looking girl, and her friend, who was also that, was standing in front of her with a camera, and she did her best to give us a couple of runway, like little poses side in front of the breeze block wall in an exhibit that was about slavery. And I kind of like, I walked out and I started to like convulse in a way that was just like, I couldn't fully interpret what it is that I was seeing. And like, here's what I wrote. I'm just going to read you one passage from this. This is kind of how I described this. Was I said, art is not moments, or at the very least, it's not all moments. Sure, you might have a moment when you're looking at art. Others might have these moments as well. You're spending hours of your time looking at the work that's produced as a result of someone's consciousness, as a part of their experience. Work that's based on, these moments that we talk about. But when does the incredibly meaningful embodiment of someone's experience become fodder for concepts like FOMO and #art? And I'm sure you already see this coming from a mile away. Oh, here comes Grandpa ready to tell these fornicators to get off of his lawn. Well, son, Grandpa is frankly embarrassed when you take a selfie in front of a breeze block wall that was written about in a slave's account of their life. Perhaps made worse by the fact that you pursed your lips, popped those hips, and as Tyra has instructed you to do, smize fiercely. It's fine to take a sweet pic of yourself in front of some awesome architecture, or even a piece of art that isn't commemorating the century-long struggle of an entire race of people. I was so embarrassed. This is what happens when a museum has pay what you want on Saturday. This is what happens when the very thing that art tries to battle becomes the instrument for it becoming a useless commodity. This is the way we turn the physical manifestation of someone's thoughts, feelings, and emotions into a playground for fake internet points and our need to feel included. That's just my passage from the writing on medium.com/@Brent.Pickard.
I just assume you're not allowed to bring cameras in those places.
Well, so here's the thing about that. It's interesting because there's a certain part of me that understands that there's a certain thing about art that it deserves to be shared. That the reason why people create this, I think it's dumb to assume that people create this work because they need to. I create work because I need to, but that's 50% of the way. The other 50% is because I want people to see it. It's because an artist gets their jollies in a bunch because they want people to consume it.
You want someone to see it, not use it as a backdrop like like the fucking high school lasers or something.
I can't express to you how much that upset me But I'll tell you what else was really disarming about the experience was I mentioned in that passage that I just read to you that it was pay what you want Saturday. From the hours of 5 to 8 o'clock at night, the museum stays open later and you can pay what you want to get in. Normally it's $25 per person, which is kind of expensive. If you really think about it, I think it isn't based on the context of what I saw, but that's irrelevant. The thing is I had a real hard time writing this passage because I felt like the whole time I was coming off like an elitist like jackass. Like I was coming off like some fucking bourgeois pedestrian art person.
You always do
so. I always do anyway. So there's no use in avoiding it. I have a point of view. I have an opinion, whatever. The point is, the issue is that when you have people that don't care enough, I think it's because, like, I'll put it to you this way. You know how sometimes we're like, hey, you want to go see this concert? Yeah, not really. How much does it cost? Yeah, it's $15 to get in. I guess I'll get drunk and go see it.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I've never gone and seen Fountains of Wayne just because I thought it would be fun.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. You gotta explain it again. It's because it's cheap. You're just gonna get drunk and go.
Because you're bored. Because you're in Rochester. Because there's nothing to do. Maybe. I don't know. It's kind of a foreign concept to me.
Odd.
But Dylan, if you can wrap your head around it for just a second,
I'll try.
if you can just imagine.
Let me see if I can figure this out here.
If you can just imagine that, let's say this. Let's say one night there's a concert going on, and instead of it being really cheap, let's say they said pay what you want. What kind of people do you think would show up at the concert where they could pay what they wanted? Do you think it would be people who really love the band and want to see them and know every lyric to every single one of their songs? Because I'm pretty sure that's not what's going to happen. I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is it's going to be the people who have only heard the one hit by the artist, if that, or maybe just people who want to have an Instagram moment, Dylan. Really, that's what's going to happen. It happens in every entertainment medium that we can think of. And so art is no different. And I'll tell you this. Art has many, many rock stars, Dylan. Art has many, many one-hit wonders, as it were. And if people only know that, maybe they're from another country. Maybe they're from across the pond. Maybe they're from across the world. Maybe they're in New York for a weekend trip. And they're like, wouldn't it be fun to go to one of them art museums that I hear so much about? Here's where the elitist part comes out, and I try to pull myself back a little bit. We got there, and the line was around the corner for pay what you want. It was around a single block. It was out of fucking control. We were asking people in line, is this the line for like to get in to pay admission into the museum? And they're like, no, this is the pay what you want line. We finally find out from somebody that apparently there's another line where if you want to pay the $25, you can get in in relatively quick fashion. And I was like, I was ready to pay the $25. Let's just get the fuck in there. We drove down here 3 fucking hours to get to see this. I'm not going to sit here in line just to save, $20. So we go to that line.
Your pay what you want price is a fiver. You toss him a fiver.
I don't.
You dirtbag.
$10. $10 is pay what you want.
That's how I know you're not an elitist, because you were willing to just throw him a fiver.
So
I can get in here for 5 bones.
Look,
what's up? I can afford a hot dog
Dylan,
afterwards.
If I was living in New York,
one of those street dogs.
If I was living in New York, Dylan, and I woke up at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday and was like, I'm going to go get in line to get in the Guggenheim for almost free. Great. I'll go in there and I'll get in there and I'll wait in line, and we're none the wiser. But again, I spent 3 hours fucking getting here. My ass is going to pay the price to get in. Whatever. I'm supporting the arts. Sue me.
Great.
So we get in. And it is fucking nuts to butts in there.
To be fair, I looked up this artist, and the news stories are set a new attendance record.
Yes.
Record breaking.
Uh-huh.
So,
people wanted to see this artist.
I can imagine this tiny spiral staircase.
Yeah, crowded to the fucking gills with people. Now, Dylan, I don't like to throw the word mouth breather around. That's not true. I like to throw it around all the time. I love that word, and I think it perfectly describes what's happening in this environment. Normally, what you want to do when you go to a museum is you want to have a few moments. You want to have a quiet moment. You want to look at something maybe up close, look at it far away. There's lots of different ways.
Rub your hands on it.
Yeah, exactly. A bunch of holes through it. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, see how the oil feels on your hands. Exactly. That paint.
Mm-hmm. And
maybe scratch a little piece off, take it home with you. Souvenirs. Pay what you want. Well,
you sound like Tom Haverford from Parks and Rec. Maybe you just want to go up and scratch it and just take a little piece for yourself. All right.
I paid the $25 to get in. I could have waited and to pay what I want. I'm taking something home with me, even if it's just a little. You know, 100%. When you use too much paint and it like kind of bubbles up a little bit. Yeah. So just like pop a little bit of that off. The color will still be there underneath it. You're just getting a little of that paint for yourself.
Just get it underneath your fingernails. You know, those the masters, the masters of art. You just want to be a little bit. You want to like rub some of it off on you a little bit. I just want to be a part of it. So, Dylan, in my effort to just be a part of it, it felt like I was at Darien Lake. It felt like I was engaging with people who. And now, look. I will say this. There are so many people in that museum that felt exactly the way that I did, but you have no way of identifying it. That because those people are just walking around, they're trying to enjoy the art, they're keeping to themselves, they're not taking 1,000 fucking pictures in front of everybody, framing themselves up in a selfie in front of a cool color and texture. They're not because Dylan, there's this woman fought so hard for her work to be displayed for an audience that she felt would understand it and take her seriously in the context of her background.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. She is the McDonald's now of abstract expressionism. She is the Sabaros on the throughway of
the Roy
women
Rogers.
Artists. It was so blindingly frustrating because it wasn't, Dylan, it wasn't just the girl who was like duck facing in front of the slave wall, right? It wasn't that.
I just got a podcast title.
It was the rest of them. It was the rest of the people who couldn't possibly let a moment pass. You're typing this into Hangouts right now. It was the people, Dylan, who couldn't possibly let a moment pass without trying to commemorate this in some way with fake internet points. And it was so disillusioning in a sense.
The irony of us recording this podcast for fake internet points.
Dude, you got to get them likes up. By the way, Dylan,
what's the clout looking like? What's our clout status? What are we at?
Dylan,
a hot 2?
I am going to blow your mind right now.
Oh, you're gonna blow me?
I'm gonna blow your mind. Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna shift gears.
Brown Eye Clan.
From that, I got done with my story. I just wanted to make, all that clear for you. But here is, for some reason, what's happening, and I don't know why. I'm sure you remember. I'm sure you remember when we had another podcast where we were like, why does this have so many views? or why does it have so many listens? So I'll give you the last few. Cornhole Invitational had 9.
Yeah.
Beware the Boulder Monster had 16. Chillamal has 67.
Those are them bots.
And then Subway Samurai has 9. Furious has 9. RE in return has 8. Pressed for Time has 64.
It's the bots, dude.
Episode 42, The Resurrection, 9. Aggregated Content, 55. Honeymoon Havoc, 63. Derezzed, 60.
So it's like every 4?
Yeah, Classic Collection, 47.
Right. Okay.
And then everything before that
9.
is in the 20s and 30s. And then Kickstart My Heart had 83.
Wow, Brent.
And then The Master of Unlocking had 150.
I doubt that many people listen to it.
Hey, ride the wave, baby.
That's a bad wave.
Whatever, man.
That's someone sneezing in the wind while you're walking down the street and you catch some of the mist in your face. That's not a wave.
Like a candle in the wind. Well, Dylan, it's that time of the week again. It's that time of the week where I get really ornery and I get really angry. And I start craving chocolate really bad. And I also possibly ask you if there was any video games that you've played as of late. So I played one. For some reason the other day, I was sitting here and I was like, I haven't picked up a fucking controller in God knows how long. I think probably I played The Messenger for like 2 hours on my trip to Arizona. And actually did pretty good and couldn't believe that I was actually making progress on a game that probably most would consider to be a medium to medium hard platformer. I would consider it to be frustrating, but not hard in some spots because it's a knockback platformer. It's like Castlevania. It's just like, get knocked back into a hole a couple times and you're going to really get pissed off. Anyways, I got pissed off, still persisted, felt like it was a really great game, kept playing. But Dylan, this time around, I don't know why I got in this mode, but I was like, what was a game that Dylan wanted me to play back in the day that I didn't play? Like I was trying to think about games and also ones that I already owned. And I was like, didn't he give me a copy of Yakuza? But I was like, I think he gave me a copy of Yakuza 0, but we couldn't get it to work on Humble Bundle because you got it for free that month. And I still don't think we got it to work. But
I can resend it to you, but yeah.
But I remember you told me that Kiwami came out on like PlayStation like a wicked long time ago on PlayStation Plus, the free ones. And so I just put it in I popped it into my library. And I was like, I always wanted to play Yakuza. But I didn't want to start from 0, even though it's the prequel. I wanted to do Kiwami because it was the first Yakuza, but it's all updated and nice and pretty. So I was like, okay, I'll load that up. First of all, it took all of 8 minutes to download because it was so small. So that was great. I was like, damn, I thought I was going to have to go do shit. I'm ready to just play this right now. So I sat and played about an hour and a half through the first probably 5-6 missions. And found it very delightful. The first few things where it was doing expositional stuff, I thought it was all fucking over the place. I was like, I really do not understand what's going on, which made sense for a Sega game. I was like, okay, cool, I get it kind of now. But once I actually started doing the missions was when I started to understand the storyline, when they had the brief dialogue sections and the brief FMVs. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, cool, I get it. The fighting is kind of interesting. It's not so... It doesn't really reward... It does reward timing in a sense, but it's not as satisfying as something like a Bayonetta. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have that. It just doesn't have the right stuff. Huh?
It's more of a beat 'em up and less of a
tactical fighter, or like a Devil May Cry where you have to really know combos and shit. You don't have to. You just mash buttons.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, if it's kind of one of those. It's kind of in the sense that it's a beat 'em up. It's a beat 'em up where you have to. It's a timing beat 'em up. You have to do your like you hit your three button like your 4-button combo. It's just square, 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 triangle, and that's your normal way of doing things. It's 3 soft and a hard for hitting.
Yeah, it is.
3 soft and a hard. Get them.
Sounds like Saturday night, you know what I'm saying? Dude.
Yeah,
Brown Eye Club.
Brown Eye Club. Sha la 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 la. So I'm gonna keep playing it. I'm gonna do my best to keep playing it. I don't know how long of a game it is.
30.
It's a 30-hour.
I think so.
So, my God, that's huge for me. I'm more of a 10-hour game type of person, but I will continue to try to have fun with it. And right now I'm in the mode of like just doing everything linear. Like I'm not doing a lot of like just fucking around, which I know is probably pivotal to the idea of it. So I'm going to start doing that a little bit as it widens a little bit as the whole thing. I think it's probably going to start widening a little. But right now I'm just doing everything it tells me to do. Basically just doing linear, the whole story as it stands.
I heard that game has like some of the best side missions, like comedy wise. Like they're funny as all hell.
That's what drew me to the newest Yakuza. What's the newest one?
6?
Yeah. When I was seeing some of the playthroughs for 6 where it was like where it was like some of the weirdest shit you would do like on the side, that's what really appealed to me. So I kind of wanted to see like what that gives you, like what in the original component of the series, like what you get for that side stuff. But 6 was so appealing because it's like a full version of Outrun on an arcade cabinet that you can play in game by going to an arcade, all that type of shit, which I thought was really amusing. But it's good so far. I mean, it's not like I got into it and immediately disliked it. Like I gave it a chance, and it actually does have like it has a good narrative, and it is stylistically kind of cool. Obviously Yakuza 6 is going to have a completely bigger world, like huge. This more just feels like Grand Theft Auto Vice City. It isn't huge.
No, I'm pretty sure it's the same area.
Is it really? Wow. It does this
maybe a
feels
little bigger, but I don't think they made them like gigantic.
This feels like it is very Vice City. Like it feels like that's about the size of it.
Take like 6 turns and you're back where you started.
Yeah, I like doing some of the initial missions. Like you felt like you're just running into an alley and then running out into the normal street, and you've only gone like 2 or 3 blocks, and there's only like 20 total blocks in the area that you're in. So it's not huge, but at the same time, I think that also is cool because it gives you a sense of like once you start to learn where things are, you kind of get to know it very well. Like you know where to go back if you have to do something eventually. It's just like Grand Theft Auto. Like, oh, I got to go back to my garage over on that side of the city, and it's like, oh, I know exactly where that is. So you get that sense from it. But yeah, that's really the only stuff I've been playing. I've been really, really wanting to play games badly. But it's just not happening. It really isn't. And maybe I need to just push myself. Maybe if Yakuza is going to be the thing that I do, I just go full tilt into that. I've also wanted to just get back online and just play some competitive shit. But I know at this point, if I try to get back on Apex Legends, that it's just going to be horrible. So why would I even do that?
Let's play right now.
You want to play some Apex?
Either that or the Fortnite.
The Fortnite this early, Dylan. Wow. That's fascinating.
I got a whole bunch of green circles in Discord right here. Maybe we can get a full.
Oh my God, there's so many green circles. Well, I gotta make something for dinner, and then we can probably roll out on some Fork Night. But where are we at with our timing right now?
Hour 12. So we got about like an hour and 5. We're good.
We're an hour 5?
Yeah, we're good.
Well, you know what? We can keep it short, baby.
It's a breezy
There's
week.
no problem in that. It's an easy breezy one today.
Easy breezy
on this,
one.
the day of our Lord.
Oh, that's every Sunday.
What did you have for Easter dinner?
Tortellini with some lobster tail in it.
Oh,
Tortellini
my
Alfredo,
God.
Alfredo with lobster tail.
Oh, God. Dylan, damn. What else? What else was this on the day of our Lord?
I don't know, just a regular Brussels sprouts, ham.
Brussels sprouts. Oh, shit. I think I got some Brussels sprouts.
I don't eat ham,
make some.
so that's why I get the fancy pasta dish, because I don't eat the ham.
Oh, yeah, because you tell moms to go out and be like, Mom, I don't eat ham. What are you going to make me right now?
You know I don't like ham.
All right, fine. What do you want? I want a fucking lobster tail. Take out the wallet and get some fucking lobster tail right now, okay? I don't want any bourgeois pedestrian shit. I don't want any of that stuff. Go out and get me some fucking lobster. Oh, my God. Lobster tail.
Got the bread.
Riding
too.
high on the hog.
Got the bread, too.
You got the what now?
The bread.
I don't know what that's like. I don't know what any of the things you talked about are like. I mean, look, I'm over here drinking spiked seltzer. I don't know what bread is. I don't know what fucking pasta is. I tried it before. I don't know. Gave me heartburn. What do you want me to say about it? It made me fat, Dylan. It all makes you fat. It doesn't matter. It's just all in the.
You're gonna die anyways.
Yeah, look, I'll hop the curb and get hit by a bus before I fucking die from eating too many fucking tortellinis with lobster tail. Who gives a shit? And with that incredibly wonderful note, I hope every one of you out there had as beautiful as a day of our Lord as Dylan did with your lobster tail tortellinis and whatnot. And even if you didn't,
why are you dunking on my lobster tail?
Sack up. Even if you didn't, sack up. Head out into the week with a smile on your face and a song in your heart.
Nope.
Okay? And the song better be
Wally Wally.
Oochie Wally Wally, Oochie Bang Bang. This has been a really short edition of the Jack It Off podcast. I'm going to go eat some food. I'm out of here.